Hi, this is Greg Johnson with Blue Book. I'm here today with our retail editor, Pamela Schneider, for our week in review. And one of the most interesting stories that Pamela wrote about this week was the Consumer Reports grocery satisfaction list. And I noticed that there were a few chains on there that have not made the list before, in addition to the ones that always make the list, like Trader Joe's and Wegmans.
I pay attention to this list. Part of the reason why is Consumer Reports is very well recognized as an unbiased authority on a lot of these ratings. They do a surveys of their 75,000 of their members to talk about their satisfaction with their community grocer. And to see that, Trader Joe's, of course, they usually win a lot of these lists. Wegmans is usually recognized. It's a well-deserved recognition. But what I thought was really interesting was in the produce category, especially, we saw some new players on here. We saw Fresh Time Farmers Market, that's based in Downers Grove, Illinois. We saw Heinen's, that's based in Cleveland. Saw Central Market here in Austin, Texas. That's an H-E-B spinoff. The original store is in Austin, and my husband actually shops there like every day at lunchtime. Nice. New Seasons in Portland, and then Lunds and Byerly's in Minnesota. Those are all names we know and names that a lot of people talk about in the produce industry. But the one I really like to see highlighted is actually in Los Angeles. Gelson's Market was pointed out not only for overall satisfaction, but specifically in produce. And you and I both know a guy at Gelson's who took over their produce a couple of years ago, Paul Nealand.
Yeah.
He was with a couple of retailers in the East Coast, and he made the big move over to the West Coast. And I reached out to him and congratulated him on, being recognized. Gelson's is one of those retailers that is really making some moves there and making some big changes with the company and expanding rapidly. So I thought that list was really fascinating.
Yeah, we've worked with Paul before throughout our career, and he's a wonderful expert in produce. It's really cool to see that all these retailers that are being recognized are ones that are known for quality, and they're not consumers over on trying to beat the next guy on price. They're beating them on the best quality produce, and it's cool that consumers recognize this and are shopping there.
Well, Greg, you also took a look at some crop reports, and we had a rough spring with strawberries, but what's the outlook here for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, strawberries did have a pretty bad time, but right now it's starting to get really much better. We're in the week right before Easter, so all the buying's been already done for Easter holiday, but Mother's Day is less than a month after Easter, unlike normal years when Easter's earlier. And that means that there should be an excellent strawberry crop for Mother's Day promotions. And one of the things, we tend to cover the industry from the retail point of view, but Mother's Day is the #1 food service holiday. And I talked to Marcon for the strawberry story, and they say, of course, strawberries are huge for them for Mother's Day, and they have an excellent crop, especially coming from Santa Maria, very high quality, good volumes, very large sizes. So it couldn't be better for consumers and buyers trying to do promotions for Mother's Day.
I've got a soccer tournament on Mother's Day, actually.
Of course, I have to have my prop.
Yeah, your prop department's got one. So I will be looking for not only some mimosas out there, but maybe some chocolate-covered strawberries to share with the rest of the moms who are stuck out there on the sidelines for Mother's Day. So
I don't blame you.
And one of the other big stories that we've been following in the Produce Reporter newsletter, there's been a lot of acquisitions in produce over the last couple of weeks. We just saw Spartan Final go back to Apollo Global Management. But the two that really are hitting produce, kind of where in the heart of produce, are Earthbound Farm being picked up by Taylor Farms and Bolt House being sold off of the Campbell's unit. Campbell's is getting out of the fresh business. Greg, what do you think this means? What do you think it says about these big CPG companies like Danone and Campbell getting rid of their fresh produce?
Well, we've seen a few of our peers in the produce industry address this, and I tend to agree with them, and especially with the angle that produce lifers will say that the produce industry is really complicated, and you have to do it for a long time before you're good at it. You can't just go get an MBA or work for a few years at a CPG company and think that you can figure out this business. There's just too much variability with perishability, weather issues, And these big companies are finding out that it's way more complicated than it's worth their time to do. And it's really nice for produce companies and expert companies who really do things well to be able to pick these companies back up for lower than they went to the CPG company for.
And I think a lot of people are happy kind of to see a brand like Earthbound Farm come back to, you know, the core of produce in Salinas ownership. That's at least the reaction that I'm seeing amongst my peers out there in the produce industry. And then Jeff Dunn, the group that led the purchase of Bolthouse back from Campbell's, they really did some interesting things with marketing and merchandising for Bolthouse, but we haven't seen a whole lot from them lately. So maybe we'll see some reinvigoration in the produce category.
Yeah, that would be good. It's definitely a good thing. And those are people and companies that are very well respected in the industry. In fact, I've given awards myself to Jeff Dunn and Bruce Taylor throughout my career. And, people really respect what they do. So I'm glad they're having a bigger hand in these big brands.
Well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you'd like to receive our daily newsletter, head over to producebluebook.com and sign up. Thanks, Greg.
It is free.
Well, like free stuff, right?
Everyone does.
See you later.